Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Yotpo and Athos Commerce webinar, Adopting in Real Time, How to Use Personalization to Stay Ahead of Shifting Shopper Behavior. Neil, where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining from Portland, Oregon.
Beautiful. Is it raining or is it sunny today?
It is sunny and nice today.
That's good.
It's actually not normal for this time in June, but it's beautiful and sunny right now.
And Dan, how about you?
I'm actually out in the Hamptons for the next 2 weeks, my wife and two of our friends. So we have some gorgeous weather. After this, I'll go work by the pool, hopefully get some sun in. A little different than New York City, where I'm usually based out of, having like the outdoors out here.
Lovely. That sounds really nice. Well, hopefully we're not keeping you from the pool, Dan.
No, no, of course not. Worth it. This is only webinar I joined from vacation and get to join and get to talk about this awesome integration we're about to launch.
Amazing. Well, my name is Rachel Tonner. I am VP of Product Marketing for Athos Commerce, which is the merging of three brands, Clayvu, Intelligent Reach, and SearchSpring. And what we're going to talk about today is how to use personalization in a really cool new way that's quite easy. As we all know that personalization is essential. In e-commerce, you have seconds to capture that attention, and tailoring the experience with real-time data will turn visits into conversions more often. And really, recent tech advancements have made that easier to do very well. So platforms like Yotpo and Athos Commerce, creating simple integrations helps customers of both platforms do more. Today, we're going to show you how to tap into customer insights and deliver personalization at scale without adding complexity, which it's been quite a complex topic over the past 15 years in e-commerce, probably longer. But yeah, it is getting easier with the right technology. So just to introduce Athos and Yotpo. So Yotpo is a platform which drives more sales from repeat shoppers, puts all retention solutions in one platform to create seamless post-purchase journeys tailored to each customer and track performance. So you can see what drives your retention forward and take action and optimize. Athos Commerce powers peak commerce performance wherever e-commerce happens. As I said, it unites SearchSpring, Clayvu, and Intelligent Reach platforms with AI-driven tools for product discovery, search recommendations, merchandising, and feed management. So let's get some introductions from you now. Neil Lofgren from Athos, would you like to briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. I started in e-commerce in 2009 and founded a company called Foretel, which became part of SearchSpring in 2020. So I've been in this area a long time, dealing mostly with product discovery and personalization for all that time. So that's really my focus and passion.
Amazing. And Dan Sestone from Yotpo.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having us on here, Rachel, and super excited to get to chat. I've been with Yotpo for a little over 6.5 years now. I started off as CSM and then moved into managing our loyalty and most recently our subscriptions product. And then this past November, transitioned into product partnerships. So helping partners like yourself integrate with Yotpo across our products and ensuring that both technically and that we can do it technically and then also get our teams enabled through webinars like this to make sure we're getting the most out of these integrations. So super excited to be here and dive in.
Cool. So today we're going to be having a bit of a chat about personalization, some why it's important now. And then we're going to go through a show and tell of the brand new Athos Commerce and Yotpo integration, followed by a Q&A at the end. But as I said, if you have questions, please pop them in the questions or in the chat as we go through. So Neil, to start with you, can you tell us a bit about why you believe in the personalization vision, specifically with Athos Commerce?
Yes. So at Athos, we're really, as probably evident from all of these mergers and acquisitions, are very interested in bringing the best technology together to form a really comprehensive platform that really provides a wealth of features for merchandisers and brands. And part of that on the personalization side is to not create a black box. So we really believe in precision personalization. So let the AI do what it does best, but also provide guides, settings, ability for merchandisers to really control that process and the results.
Yeah, it's about that blending of automation and control, isn't it? Um, and, I also believe in the future of the Athos platform. Coming in product marketing, I see all the work that's being done to merge all of those best of breed technologies into one. What are some key industry trends that you're seeing, Neil, in the personalization space? And you've been in this space a while, so feel free to go back a bit and then let us know what's happening now.
Yeah, I think really the blend of on-site, off-site, and mobile and desktop really being able to provide um, a single unified experience to shoppers across all their touch points is very important and key to creating that relationship with the customer and loyalty. It's a piece where, omni-channel browsing, so that is a fantastic capability for the customer, but it also introduces some challenges, right? So you have a lot more likely abandoned baskets when you're going from device to device and loss of connection or connectivity or experience. And so it's important to try and bridge those gaps and bring the shoppers back to the site when they've left from one device and moved on to another. We've
Absolutely.
done some surveys and found that 60% of shoppers favor a website adjusting while browsing, and 54% of shoppers wanted product recommendations based on their previous behavior. And also, 61% of merchants reported positive results from personalized product recommendations on their channels. So it's really something that shoppers are looking for and eager for, and that has been a change over time. Back when I started in this area, that was not the case. It was more of a thing that was done in the background and tried not to be obtrusive or letting anyone even know that it was happening. But now it's much more that something shoppers expect and something that you really want to provide them and be obvious about it.
I'm almost counting on those basket abandonment emails so I can remember what I was doing, to be honest. Dan, what's your view here?
Yeah, I think what excites me the most about this is it builds on so much of what we're preaching here at Yotpo. And I think if we don't practice what we preach, then we're not doing the best of our abilities to create a retention marketing platform. So looking at all of the external signals that you're able to send us and laying those on top of the data that we have, you can really create an experience that's super unique and going to drive even higher conversion rates. We found time and time again that the more targeted you can get with your flows, the more relevant you can make it, the higher conversion rates we're seeing. So not only do we know that Neil was on your site, he abandoned search or abandoned a cart, this is what he was looking at. And then, oh, he also has this many loyalty points and he's in a VIP tier. So let's tie this all together, get that information in front of him at the right time. And I know we'll touch on it shortly, but even outside of flows, we can do so much with the campaign segmentation now and how to target, how to know who to go after, how to make sure that the people you're sending to are the best people to target at that time. And that they're more likely to convert than your average Joe who might have just been on the site and abandoned it.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to getting into the detail. But first, can you tell us a little bit about Yotpo? Because having started as a reviews platform, it certainly positions Yotpo as like customer centric. How have you grown over the years?
Yeah, we started off as that single product Yotpo reviews platform that I think we're so well known for in the space. And we've slowly built on top of that. So our CEO Tomer had found that like not only were reviews driving a lot of customer engagement, but customer loyalty because they knew that these people were loyal to the brand. They wrote a 5-star review. How can we continue to build on that? Was when we acquired Swell, which was a loyalty platform, and added in that data layer into our data lake now of, hey, we know your loyalty status, your VIP tier, how many points you've redeemed if you referred someone. And then after that, we went and acquired SMS Bump, bringing in the ability to do our marketing messaging leveraging all of that data. And then most recently, we had launched email built on top of that SMS infrastructure so that you can now do email marketing, transactional emails, all with that additional data from Yotpo, knowing their review status, their loyalty status, to try to create an experience that's really unique and connected to everything that the shoppers are doing. We want to make sure that all those data points are feeding an engagement model that will make it the most effective for you, so that when you are sending, you're getting the most out of those sends, and they're getting the most out of that review data, that loyalty data, that Athos data, to know how these users will engage and when is the best time to get them back on your site and actually target them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the Athos data, Dan, which I know is new and you're very excited about. Neil, what behavioral signals are actually the new currency of commerce, and how can retailers maximize the data for creating a better shopping experience?
Yeah, there's really a wealth of data that you can access and pull in. Um, Things like the method of arrival to the site. Did it come through an email campaign or an SMS campaign? Um, what location is the shopper coming from? You know, where are they located? What has their are they a new um, arrival, or are they a known customer that's been there a long time? Are they part of your specific tier, VIP, or other segment? And then if they are a known shopper, what do you know about their past behavior? Are they Do they have preferred brands and categories that they always come back to? Is there any data in that history that you can mine to help provide that immediate personalization? And then what are they interested in right now? That's always the most important. So the signals of what products are they looking at? What are they searching for? What do they put in their cart? All those signals are really the most important and provide that current context of what they're looking for now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan, how do those live signals help create a better experience?
Yeah, I think everything that Neil just stated is a way to get more granular in your targeting, right? If we know they came from a mobile device, maybe let's segment and only send them an SMS campaign as opposed to an email. In Yotpo, we have our multi-message campaigns and our multi-message flows, so we can say, where did they arrive from? They came from a phone. Let's send them an SMS text. If they came from their desktop, maybe we send them an email. So you can start to break out that information and use it to really get as granular as possible, so that we know we're delivering this to them in a manner that's going to be the most receptive, right? We all have our preference, whether it's browsing on our computers, browsing on our phones. We have certain times that we typically check. Maybe where we're based will give us more information about what products to offer them, when to offer it. Like Neil mentioned, right now over in Portland, Oregon, it's sunny. Maybe it's typically a bit rainy, but we might not want to send him an ad or a message about buying a new bathing suit, maybe something about a rain jacket. So you can do that based on where they're located now, and having that extra information can just make sure every send, it will be as profitable as possible, leveraging this data.
Yeah, and do you have some specific examples? Like you mentioned, like mobile versus, like, sorry, sending an SMS versus an email. Do you have any other specific examples of how Yotpo customers are using this?
Yeah, so the biggest piece that we've seen right now is leveraging it to segment within our campaign. So we can now use this data to take your audience, and instead of doing a blast and pray method where, hey, we're going to send out this email to 10,000 contacts or this SMS to 10,000, let's try to refine that as much as possible to target a really dedicated segment. Have they abandoned search? What products did they search for? What do they have an affinity for? When was their last time on site? Now we can layer in that Yotpo information as well. Do they have loyalty points? If they have loyalty points, let's make sure that there's a call to action to use those loyalty points on the product that they were just browsing and happen to abandon. If they don't have enough points to redeem, maybe they get an email saying, hey, Neil, we noticed that you were really interested in this new rain jacket. You're 100 points away. This purchase will make it so you can redeem. You can now take all of that information to create a really refined funnel and target within our campaigns, but even within our flows. So maybe we say, hey, this cart abandonment flow, we're going to use our Athos data to create some splits in it to know what products they were looking at, or what device were they on, where were they located, and take that flow that would just be a standard cart abandon, send SMS, then follow up with email and say, let's look at where they're from. Let's look at how they arrived on the site. Let's look at what they were searching for and get really refined with it, so we know that Rachel's message will be different than Dan's, and Dan's message will be different than Neil's, to target us and give us the right information at the right time. So everything comes back to, how can we make sure that our mutual customers are getting the most out of this partnership? How can they send those same messages but get even more ROI? And the best way to do that is to segment, refine it, and get it down to be targeting at the exact moment. Those are a couple quick examples that we've seen so far from our customers, but I think we're going to see even more as they start to dig in with their CSMs and navigate, who do we target, when do we target, how much can we optimize this to really drive that small incremental revenue that will add up over time.
Absolutely. And the coolest thing to me about this integration is the kind of set and forget stuff that you can do in
Yeah.
the abandoned cart email, in the, post-purchase email. So it's really valuable, and I think it'll be really powerful. Back to you, Neil. So how can retailers scale the tailored experiences with this data, like maybe especially for like large or growing product catalogs and audiences?
Yeah, so the trick there is to really leverage the technology and not have to do so much manually. So we do provide those tools for like manual curation of recommendations, but really we try and guide our merchandisers toward using the tools that allow them to do more with less rules. So they can set up rules based on categories or brands. They can say, when the shoppers looking at a product from one category, I want the first recommendation to be from another, so they can kind of guide the AI without providing those specific results, and let the AI then choose the best result for each page. That way they can cover, thousands of pages with just a few rules. So some of those tactics can be very helpful in reducing the manual workload, and just letting the AI do what it does best. But you still have that ability to override it when you really want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So let's get into the show and tell. We're going to share the screen again in a moment. And then Neil and Dan, let's show everyone what you're talking about.
First part of this integration is data. So once you have your store connected from Athos to Yotpo, we'll start immediately sending customer data that we've collected. That's really the analysis that we've done based on those customers. We link that to their accounts and their customer records in Yotpo, and we add about 36 new parameters to each record. So some of those you can see here, like the order total and preferred brands, preferred categories. These are all things that on the Athos side we've calculated based on those customers' behavior. We also segment data into like last 30 days, last 3 months, last 3 to 6 months, so that you can have rules like I want customers who were on site 3 months ago, but not on site this past month, and try and target them to bring them back. So it really gives you a lot of additional parameters that you can use to really focus those segments and hyper personalize them to get to just those customers that you want.
Yeah, and this piece to me um, is where we can really start to get excited and really start to refine. We have the add condition button there, and instead of even saying an or statement, or at least when these conditions met, we can use an and statement to go, what was their preferred category? Okay, based on their preferred category, what was their total number of orders? How many times have they opened up a message? When was their last time on site? And now use that segment to say, anytime someone enters this, let's trigger a message. Let's say, let's automate that flow like Rachel was talking about. I think every marketer out there, we know you're wearing a lot of hats right now. We have a lot of roles and responsibilities on us. So how can we take this segment and now just optimize it? Anytime someone falls into this segment based on the Athos information and the Yotpo data layer, we're going to fire off an email. Then we're going to follow up with an SMS 3 days later if they didn't actually make a purchase. Within that flow, maybe we offer them a customized coupon based on their experience. And maybe it's tied to one of those specific categories or those specific products that we want them to purchase. All of this connective data layer is only going to make the shopper experience more intuitive and a bit better. In my experience, nothing's worse than when I get an email from a brand asking me to check out a product that I just have absolutely no interest in and I've never even looked at before. But when they serve me something that I probably looked at, that's usually when my credit card comes out and I make that purchase and say, oh, wow, okay, they were listening. Now I should pull the trigger and make that purchase. So this data used not only in campaigns, but also in flows to create those automatic trigger results are going to just help our shoppers and or help your shoppers get the most out of their experience and our mutual partners get the most out of our collaboration here.
Perfect. So then the next piece, getting into those email and SMS flows that Dan was talking about, we've integrated so that you can now select Yotpo as your marketing automation platform. And then once you've selected that, you can choose the type of campaign that you're going to be attaching recommendations to. You choose from any of those, and then you can choose the type of recommendation result that you want to promote in that campaign. And then that will allow you to set up a profile on the Athos side that you can insert into your email and SMS messages. So here in an email template, you just drop in an HTML block and plug in the code that's generated in our console, and it automatically will personalize this to each recipient on open. So even if they have had more interactions with your site in between the time that you send the email, at the point when it's opened is when it gets personalized to that shopper based on their behavior.
That is so cool. I lied before when I said I think the coolest thing is about cart and yeah, after purchase. I think another really cool use case, and I've seen this like so many retailers I've worked with do all these amazing, beautiful editorial emails, right? But then they have to manually curate all the products in those emails. And this could be another use case could be to like inject some personalized content with not a lot of effort. And you could do that by category or topic or, yeah. Back to you, Neil. I just wanted to geek out
Yes.
about that.
And you can set up as many of those profiles as you like. So if you're doing a multi-message campaign, you could have one profile that you insert into the first email, a different one into the SMS profile, another into the second flow, and so on. Actually, I think Dan might have wanted to talk on that one as well.
On the dynamic piece there, yeah, we jumped ahead really quick on this too. To Rachel's point earlier on the automation, what makes this even easier on the automation front is since Neil mentioned this will be customized to any of the participants listening, anybody that's following up later, this is going to make it so easy for you that it will be automatically optimized to whoever is opening this email. So you can set it, you forget it, you drop that HTML in. If Neil has browsed the site differently since when you sent the email, he's going to see different products than when it was originally sent. And you don't have to worry about updating that or making changes. It's all going to be updated based on his experience on the site relevant to that email. So this makes it even easier to get that relevant content in front of them, well, without having to go through so many data layers and taking so much time in your experience to curate it. We want to make it easy for you to curate this experience. And this was a huge piece for us that we're really excited about. The HTML block makes it super easy, copy and paste, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, and the same, we're not showing it here, but you can also copy paste those dynamic links into your SMS messages. So you can do dynamic image links, dynamic page links to drop those same types of recommendations one at a time into your SMS.
Very cool. Well, like I said before, I think like personalization, it's been the year of personalization for like the last 15 years really, but I think like the last few for real, it is starting to become so much easier to actually do it well, even if you have a small team. So I can see here that this is definitely part of that recipe for doing personalization well, and it's quite a high value place to start, if you don't already have um, like a strategy in place, it could be a really easy, quick win to start doing it. Um, so I've written some just wrap up here just as we were going. So just let me know if you disagree with me. But behavioral data is kind of the new gold mine for ecom. So making sure that you have that and then doing something with it is going to help you. Um, Neil said earlier, don't set too many manual rules. Let the A work sometimes, but maybe within ring fences. And this platform really does make it possible for you to do that. Use insights from how customers came to your site to decide what kind of campaign to send them in Yotpo. I loved when you said that, Dan. I think a lot of retailers think, okay, we have to make sure everything goes on every channel, but not necessarily all the time. So that was cool. And then segmenting as much as you can. We talked about personalization being about segmentation, and the more segmented and personalized the campaign, the better the results are. And we can use this data in campaigns, but also in flows to make sure that we're doing that well. Is there anything that I've missed, Neil and Dan, that you just want to make sure gets across?
No, I think that the biggest piece is for anyone that's going to be installing this and leveraging it. I think it's really important to mess around with that data. Neil mentioned there's 36 new data points that you're going to have to segment by and be aware of. Like, get in there, get your hands dirty, take a look, and always feel free to reach out to your CSM. Really, they're there to help. They're there to dive in. Coming from that CSM world, it holds a special place in my heart. I know how much work they put in to optimizing their partners and helping them get the most out of it. But we know in these times, like every dollar counts. E-commerce, like every purchase, every spend makes a difference. So if we can help you get a little bit more out of every dollar that you're spending on those sends through this integration, through segmentation, making sure that that information is relevant to the buyers, we want to be there to do this. And that's what excites me so much about this, is just like, how can we help our partners mutually succeed and get the most out of every send possible? And this integration and these additional 36 data points, correct me if I'm wrong there, Neil, if it's a little bit more or a little bit less, but I know it's quite a few that we're able to give you and just make so much more information available at your fingertips. Really is going to be, I think, a game changer for a lot of our mutual brands.
Yeah, I think all the things you said, Rachel and Dan, are perfect. Really just try and tie those experiences together. Give your shoppers that connected and unified experience that they're after, and they'll keep coming back.
So we're going to go into Q&A now. So I have one question for Dan. Um, how can retailers who already have complex workflows in Yotpo email and SMS leverage the Athos integration?
Yeah, great question. So once you've installed the integration between the two parties, so your integration center and SMS and email, those data points will start populating on your users. And what I recommend is actually going into your flows. If you're already looking to add this into a flow, go into the flows and take a look at what you're splitting on, and then what those additional data points are that are being shared from the Athos integration. Can we add them in? Can we take it a step deeper? Can we take it a layer lower in what we're segmenting on and how we're segmenting? In that, you saw in the screenshot earlier, everything from how many orders in the past 3 months to how many orders in the past 3 to 6 months. You can get really, really granular here to make adjustments and push through a lot of great data points. So leveraging that in a way that will just get a little bit deeper there. And if you are doing a lot of segmentation for your campaigns, take that same segment, make a copy of it, and just add a couple more and or statements there, like in that screenshot, to refine it even further. We're not saying you have to reinvent the wheel here, but we would love to see you just add on that little bit extra layer of data and get it a little bit more refined.
Great advice. Neil, do you have anything to add to that question?
I think that yeah, using the combination of the data that is coming in from Athos along with the data that Yotpo is already collecting is the key. You can combine those two sets of data together in lots of pretty interesting ways to segment down to the right audience and make sure that you're focusing your messaging. And then you can also tie that into those profiles for the recommendations to make sure the recommendation profile is set up to match that intent for that segment. So you can even, you know, name your profiles based on those different your key segments, and then you'll easily be able to drag those in and paste them into those flows. Um, yeah.
Cool. Um, any other questions? Um, Neil, yeah, for retail, so Athos is a new platform. What would be your top tip for retailers considering it? How can they use the platform to its best in personalization?
Right. So Athos is bringing in all the personalization features from SearchSpring and also combining some additional features from Clayvu. So there's a whole wealth of tools to use there. And to get started, really, we have some like getting started options for when you first set up the site. You can go into the personalization on-site recommendations and set up the standard set that we recommend, which puts lots of different ones. You have your similar and cross-sell bundles for the um, product detail page. You can put session recommendations, which are based on that shopper's activity during that session. Really great for zero results pages or the 404. And even on the home page, you can start those types of profiles. Will start with trending items site-wide and then focus in more and more on that shopper's behavior as they browse the site and return. So really setting up all those different locations will be the best. You can also use um, recently viewed at the bottom as sort of a bring the customer back to what they've been browsing before. And then you can bring a lot of those similar flows and profile types into your email and SMS campaigns so that you have that connected experience that's going to be more consistent across all those touch points.
Yeah, product recommendations are so powerful, really. Um, I was just going to say quickly that I think too few retailers actually use recently viewed consistently. That's a complaint I'd like to raise. I think it should be everywhere. Um, we have one more question. Sorry, it's quite long. One second. Okay, it's a good one. Would you be considering integrating with a sizing software as your 37th trigger? As you know, 70% of returns are due to size and fit. So I was wondering if you're considering it. If yes, would love to have a chat with you three.
Size preference is definitely something that we're planning to start tracking more on site. And I guess I hadn't really considered adding that to the segment upload, but is once we're tracking that more consistently across site, it's something that we could definitely look into.
Cool. Well, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Neil. If anyone wants to get more information about the upgraded integration, it's available through the personalization suite with Athos, and the Yotpo integration is also available from the Yotpo Integration Center. If you'd like a demo, you can go to athoscommerce.com and get a demo, or head to Yotpo and get a demo from that side. And feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn as well.